Hey trainers, I'm going to do a little bit of a different video today. It's going to be a bit of an economy video, but people are worried about the champs token and they're a little bit confused on why it's so low right now. So for this video, I need to put my economy hat on to take all your worries away. 1 second. Hey trainers, it's Straw Hat Zard here. I'm going to explain to you what happened to the champs token to make it so low and tell you why you shouldn't be worried and how it's going to recover in the future. So sit tight and enjoy the video, but before then, like the video and comment below what made you jump into Celestia Ultimate in the first place, and subscribe for more play to earn content. And let's get into it, trainers. So we're going to start off this video explaining the history when it comes to Celestia Ultimate and the champs tokens and all the things that have happened to lead us to the current price point that we are at. Starting off, as a whole, crypto's been really down as it is, and especially Web3 games. No game has really kind of had a good system in place for their tokenomics to kind of like cater for a bear market, and a lot of games were built up in the bull run. So a lot of people have been trying to work out staking mechanisms, burning mechanisms, this mechanism, that mechanism, and some of it's worked, some of it's not. But if you've seen in the most recent like couple of months, a lot of Web3 games tokens have kind of risen up a little bit with like new updates and things like that. So we can expect that from our game in the future. But when it comes specifically about Celestia Ultimate, the team has kind of got an issue when it comes to keeping to dates. And the EA, early access was meant to drop around July, June time, and it didn't come out till August. So that was already late as it was. And we had a date on the Epic Store, and there were 2 days late for that as well. So a lot of people had expectations and it wasn't met. So some of their emotions might have come to them, or they might have been annoyed in general with the team, and they dumped their tokens and sold some NFTs. But a few lucky people were able to swoop up some cheap champ tokens for passive rewards and get themselves some NFT champions to play the game. Because in reality, the game did end up dropping and was able to play the game. But then the next issue came up, and even though we did get the early access of the game, some people had different issues. Some people had blurry graphics and frame rate drops, and we all learned here that you kind of need a very good high spec PC to play it. And if you only have like a 2GB or 4GB GPU, you had no hope in really playing the game. And it's kind of sad to say that, but the people that was able to play it, they enjoyed it. And they kind of had to bear with the blurry graphics, and they didn't have the frame rate issue. But that was only a small issue that they had, because they were able to do battles, explore the land, do quests, do all types of things. So it kind of like, it came down to what you was willing to accept at the time. And some people wasn't willing to accept, some people were able to play the game and they wasn't. So that was another reason for a bunch of people to dump their tokens. But again, a bunch of people was able to play the game, they got excited and they swooped up all that tokens and then added it to their passive rewards, and they were happy in the long run. But after a couple of days, we kind of fell into another issue with the game, and that was some people's starter champions disappearing, and only people that had NFT champions was able to play the game at that point. But after a couple of days, I think it was a week actually, we got an update and it fixed all of that. It fixed the disappearing champions, and also we got a good graphics update. So the blurry graphics were gone. We got the crystal clear quality of the game that we wanted, and it was great. And a lot of people had like the frame rate issues that disappeared as well. So some people that had like a very good 4GB GPU, they was able to play the game. I wouldn't necessarily call it an optimization for the game. I think it was just like a patch and it fixed a lot of things, and a lot of people were rather happy there. But like I said already, the game has not been optimized at all. I can say that very well, because when it comes to streaming, recording while playing the game, my GPU is at 100% and I have an 8GB GPU, brand new. So I can definitely understand some people's issues with that. But if you was able to get out of the woodlands, even though might have been very hard, and got to like the cave or the lava dungeon, there's a lot less stress on your GPU and people were able to play the game a lot more smoothly there. But at the same time, people weren't willing to accept that excuse, and that was just another reason for them to dump the token. But again, people swooped up the cheap tokens, because anytime the token went low, a bunch of people was able to buy themselves some champs tokens and thus increase their tier in the passive rewards. Another reason why the people dumped their tokens was there wasn't much content. After you played the game for about a couple of days, you was able to complete a few quests that we had, and there wasn't any land, and there still isn't currently, and there wasn't any PvP. So people were kind of limited in what they can do. All they could do was just level up their champions. And if you didn't have a bunch of champions to level up, you didn't really have much to do. So you're kind of just sitting there waiting for news to come out. And a few people weren't willing to wait. Because with Web3, a big thing in it is investing. And with investing, it comes patience. And a lot of people within the Web3 games, they don't really have that because they're so used to Web2 games, getting everything as and when. And having patience when it comes to games isn't a big thing. Because whenever a game has like a glitch or anything like that, a lot of people are very upset and they like to like voice that on Twitter and things of that nature. So I can definitely feel that attitude swooped in and definitely played like a negative effect. I feel a lot of people that was in like Telegram or Discord definitely caused a little bit of FUD in the community, and then it made a few people feel like, I'm going to leave the game because I feel like nothing's going to work. But the select few that was able to level up their champions and just have a great experience on the game, they were so confused over why people get upset. They could definitely understand, but they didn't feel like it meant for people to dump the token at all. Another thing was the passive rewards. Once the news came out about the items that we was getting, a lot of people were worried about what happened to the NFT champions that was promised. And then a lot of people are upset with that, and considering you were meant to hold champs tokens to get access to these things, when they got news that didn't happen, they were quickly to pull out their staking and then dump it on the market. But what they didn't realise was a week later during the AMA, all their worries got taken away, and the team told us that everyone was going to get NFT champions that was promised. Even though they've not got them just yet, it's definitely on the roadmap to come. But here's another thing that happened. Well, it not necessarily happened because this happens in a lot of Web3, but the communication from the team. When it comes to NFT champions / Celestia Ultimate, the communication from the team is kind of limited, let's say, considering we only get to hear from them after we ask questions, and then they get answered to us in the AMA. And the AMA happens every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks we got an answer from the team, and a lot of people didn't like the waiting time to get their answers answered. And I feel like that was a big issue when it comes to like the project, is the communication, because people are still having that issue to this day. But all we can do is hope in the future that the team will be a bit more transparent, and I can even say that. Honestly, I wish they had a bit more transparency. But at the same time, I don't put the expectations on this particular team. I don't put on every other team. And considering I've been in this space for a while, I kind of accept that communication sometimes isn't great. And I'd rather not have over-promise and under-deliver. I'd rather them just tell me what's going to happen and deliver. And that seems to be what the team does. When they do give us news, they follow through with it. And right now, we're just waiting for the August update to then give us land and PvP. Then everyone will be happy. And then all the people that sold in the past are definitely going to be upset. Another thing is the use case for champs tokens. Currently, we only have 2 on the roadmap, and only one of them is kind of in use now. One of them is going to be land, and the one that we got now is for fusing champions. And considering we don't have land champions, you would have to get another Gen 1 or Gen 2 champions and fuse it together, and that's kind of costly. And a lot of people are waiting for land monsters to come out because we know they're going to be cheaper to obtain. So for now, we don't really have much of like use for the champs token. And you can say that we can use champs for buying champions on the marketplace, but at the same time we can use Matic. And I feel a lot more people use Matic to buy champions instead of champs. I feel maybe in the future, when we got more people onboarding from Fiat into the game, there'll be a lot more people using champs to buy champions. But in my closing point, I'm going to summarize pretty much everything all in one. People's expectations were not met, and I can definitely accept that and can see that. But for me, I have very low expectations when it comes to Web3, and kind of accept what I'm given. It's kind of a sad truth to say, but because I have that expectations, I'm not really disappointed. But a lot of people have such high expectations because the potential in this game is so high. So people were trying to have their expectations and potential met, and it wasn't happening. And that definitely affected the decline of the champs token. But if you haven't seen, the actual champions themselves, their price is going up. So if the NFTs are going up, but their token's going down, for me it just comes down to utility. Because a lot of people don't really have a use case for the token right now unless it's for passive rewards. And a lot of people have already got enough of the champs for their passive rewards as it is. So everyone's just really rating. It's a big rating game right now, really. But that's what, if you could really just sum it up like that, expectations were not met, and a lot of people reacted with that. But for now, all I can say is, I hope them people aren't sorry when the update comes in August. Because the minute land and PvP comes out, we're going to have unlimited content then. People can fuse all they want, people can battle all they want. If the game doesn't give us any more quests, at least we can battle each other and have a bit of an ego battle and go, my champion is stronger than your champion. I cannot wait for that to happen. So I've explained to you what happened in the past that's to affect the token's price, but now let me tell you why it's going to recover and why you really don't need to be worried. First of all, it's the August update. Like, we cannot be more hyped about land finally coming out and us being able to get monsters on there. And definitely my favourite part of the news is PvP, because I'm going to be taking off all your guys' heads and I'm going to be the king trainer in Celestia Ultimate. Another thing is, and I think that's the whole reason why we all came into it, is the potential for this game is so high. It's not even here, it's here. Like, it can generally be so good, and it's the closest thing we have here to Pokemon. And people don't like us comparing this game with Pokemon, but in general, the audience that we're going to get is them. All the people that grew up playing Pokemon Red, Blue and Yellow, they're going to come into this game and they're going to be like, wait, the graphics are kind of pretty much the same as the current Pokemon game, and I get to earn stuff, and if I decide to, like, I don't want this champion anymore, I can go sell it to someone else. Then with that money, I can go buy myself another champion. It's a great system for people that are like 20 plus, and I feel like everyone's going to enjoy it when that happens. If you think about it, in reality, there's no other monster battler in Web3 at the moment that can compete with this game at all. Like, if you look in the space, do your Googles, do your YouTubes, there's no other game that graphically can keep up with this game. And definitely when it comes to, like, the graphics are so good. If you haven't walked around the world and looked at the champions and how big they are, you know, the trees, like, when I say the trees, I mean the walking trees, because they're the champion. Like, generally, like, there's no game that can really compete with it. And if you think about, you got Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity generally looks like a PlayStation 1 game, and Celestia Ultimate does not. It does not. So if you're trying to compare the two, yeah, it's generally like comparing the horse with the Ferrari, and the Ferrari is so much better than the horse. For me, this is just growing pains. More people want to get into Web3, and everyone wants the next best thing. And when they look at Celestia Ultimate, they're like, this is so great. Web3 games have been very subpar when it comes to, like, gameplay, content and stuff like that. In reality, it's like early games when we're playing on, like, mini clip and little web-based games. So for now, we're looking for the AAA quality type of game, and this is it. So I don't know why people are so worried when, if you compare what's going on with, like, other Web3 games, it's exactly the same. So if you compare what's going on with them games and this game, if that's the same, what about the quality? This game's quality is so much higher, so we could definitely feel a lot more settled when it comes to that, and just wait a little while. And I've spoken about it a lot when it comes to the dev team and keeping to dates, but no Web3 team can keep to dates. Let's be honest here. In Web3, it's over-promise, under-deliver. But when it comes to Celestia Ultimate, they just give us hardly any communication, which is kind of bad. But when they do, it's like, this is what's going to happen. And then they bring it out. It might be 2 days late, but it comes out. And we are happy once it comes out. All you need to do, is just have a bit of research your team. In Web3, they always say, do your research. In my research with Celestia Ultimate, things are always a couple of days late. But I should never worry about that, because it always comes. So people just need to relax, have a little bit of patience, and then just be happy when it comes. For my last point, like, and this is probably said so much in Web3 and definitely in a lot of Web3 games, but we are so early. If you look at the market cap for the token, it's so low. And if you look at, like, the game we're playing, it's just the beginning. So we've got so much more to come. So before getting annoyed now, we might as well wait and to see what happens with land and PvP. Because once that comes out, we'll have a full kind of understanding of the game, and we can kind of, like, re-put our expectations, and then we can definitely relax in the future. But as a whole, you can definitely relax, and the token is going to recover in time. Because when land comes out, people are going to need the token to get their monsters, and when PvP comes out, I'm not sure if you're going to need to like use champs to be able to play the game, but that mode, but you might do. But what you can definitely bank on is when tournaments come out, because you got to realise, once PvP comes out, tournaments is going to be next. And to enter tournaments, most likely you're going to need to like pay a little bit of champs tokens to enter. So all the utility for the token is going to come in the future. So you want to get it now while it's cheap. Otherwise you'll be clamoring for it when all the modes are out and you're going to be too late. So trainers, I hope Straw Hat Zard has taken away some of your worries and given you some clarity when it comes to the issues with the champ tokens currently, and giving you some hope for the future. We all cannot wait for the August update when land and PvP drops, but you will have a new issue with me winning all the games in the PvP battles, so be worried about that. But until then, like the video, and if you haven't already, comment below what made you jump into Celestia Ultimate, and subscribe for more play to earn content. And remember, be a shark in this space, not a whale. And we're going to see you guys next time.